You're no hero. You're a wasteland wanderer, a mutant, a seeker, a robot killer, a stoic shaman guarding forgotten sciences. You seek triumph in technology, winning it with mutations and magic, soaked in radiation and quantum fields of the altered, the savage, and the semi-sentient, and the artificially intelligent. This is Mutant Crawl Classics.
Finny and DG lead the way. New RPG systems every day. Dice roll, quick adventure calls. Walking through tabletop's golden halls. Masters of pen and paper. RPGs of every flavor. Talking about different creators. The choice of games is never greater. Come with us to games they run through. New, old, and interesting. Thank you all for listening.
Welcome in, everybody. Episode 21, Masters of Pen and Paper. My name is DG, and this is my main man.
Finny, look out.
How is it going, everybody? We are jumping into Mutant Crawl Classics, not to be confused with Dungeon Crawl Classics, but
They are very compatible.
same.
Yes.
it's the same thing, just different flavors.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is great because we love Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Dude, Dungeon Crawl Classics is phenomenal.
Yes.
The funnel system, it's beautiful.
Stolen.
Love it. Stolen, yeah 100%. I mean, borrowed.
Yeah, and Mutant Crawl Classics 100% faithful to Dungeon Crawl Classics and compatible, which is
absolutely.
100% perfect.
Yeah, you could do the whole Star Trek thing they appear in the Renaissance Fair
Because
kind of idea,
at
right?
the end of Mutant Crawl Classics, it shows you how to bring in your Dungeon Crawl Classics and how to take your mutants and put them into the DCC world. It's very cool.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, what better way for us to jump in and talk about this game than to kind of dive into the guts, like the beginnings of the game? Because while Dungeon Crawl Classics and Monster Crawl Classics are kind of the same thing, they're equally not the same thing.
They are not quite the same because this is written and designed by Jim Wampler. Now, this game was originally published in 2018, which makes it fairly new compared to some of the other stuff we've done. Mm-hmm. And this is, of course, by Goodman Games. Yes, the same Goodman Games that does Dungeon Crawl Classics.
That's where the Crawl Classics component comes from.
And Jim built it on the Dungeon Crawl Classics D20 system with the skeleton, with the very cool Zocchi dice. Oh, love my odd dice, the D5s. Come on,
beautiful. It's great.
He says that is inspiration for I'm gonna say Monster Crawl Classics a lot because in my head, for some reason,
MCC.
Yes, I mean Mutant Crawl Classics. Whenever I say monster, I mean mutant.
It's gonna happen.
DM,
it's gonna slip
GM,
out.
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Mutants, monsters. I mean,
they're
different.
They're different, but they're similar.
They don't have to be.
So Mutant Crawl Classics was inspired by the Gamma World game. Now this Gamma World is a quote unquote hack of D&D 1E, and basically all it was a futuristic kind of sci-fi horror kind of thing. And this was in 1978 that he actually played Gamma World, and he goes on to say that if it had better publishing and whatnots, it would be held to the same standard as D&D was, because it was so influential at the time, and it was very original. This is, of course, where he fell instantly in love with the sci-fi genre. Fast forward 35 years, and we have one successful Kickstarter later, Mutant Crawl Classics.
Kickstarter has been such a blessing for tabletop RPGs and tabletop games in general, because otherwise we wouldn't have this kind of stuff, right?
That's
the crowdfunding is really pushed a lot of this stuff forward. And in this case here, this game is so well thought out. And a lot of the pieces in here, right? Because I mean, we talked about it on the Dungeon Crawl Classics episode. This is a good opportunity to mention we're going to be talking about a lot of things that are in common with Dungeon Crawl Classics. And if you haven't listened to episode 6, that's when we did Dungeon Crawl Classics, you're going to want to pause and go and check that one out, because we're skipping over some of
we're going to be glossing over some of the mechanics.
We'll,
are going to gloss.
Yeah, we'll still talk about it, but it's definitely not something we're going to go into depth about. And so you're going to want to check that out. But as I was saying, is we get that beauty, but now we get this extra layer on it. And so it opens up the world to potentially endless opportunities in this system. Very similar to what Merkborg was doing with Pirate Borg and with Cyborg and with all these other game systems, being able to have a different flavor on that system, especially when the system is this good.
Yes.
I got to say, I really love
insane. Again, like you say, Kickstarter has been so great for the tabletop community, because anybody can put forward a game, and if it is good enough, the people will buy it.
Exactly. Yeah. Other things that would have just been in like some guys like, hey, I wrote this, let's try this out, and plays it with their friends, maybe their local game store. Now we've got an ability to share that with the world. And I really think that's cool.
It is.
And kudos to the team behind Mutant Crawl Classics, because that is, this is definitely a success in that regard. I think we need to jump into the guts of the game.
We do.
We've been teasing it a little bit. I think now's the best time to talk about. I did mention about the commonplace with the DCC, the level 0 funnel, the level 0 session type of campaign thing. That's in here too.
Yes.
And we did mention too that they do cross over. So if you have a favorite funnel system, like here's the campaign I like, my level 0 campaign that I run in Dungeon Crawl Classics, you can very easily, with a couple of tweaks, just turn that into a mutant. You can leave it as is, but I mean, you could flavor it as Mutant Crawl Classics very, very easily.
Very, very easily, because it is the same game.
It's the same game.
Now,
all the stats, all the everything.
This is a completely separate game.
It's different.
We do not need the DCC game to play MCC.
It's different, but the same, but also different,
but also the same.
Kind of also the same, but it's also its own thing.
So the setting this time, we're looking at like a post-apocalyptic hellscape, and it is so cool because everything is mutated. Everything is not normal.
Something happened.
Something happened, quote unquote. Nobody knows what it is, because this is like thousands of years in the future.
Yeah. And I love that it's just referred to as the Great Disaster. The Great Disaster happened. It can be anything you want, but it happened.
It happened. And this is what turns everything awful. And we are playing on a world called Terra AD. Very, very 60s and 70s, sci-fi feeling.
And the AD stands for after disaster.
It does. And Terra,
just so we're all clear. Terra is the world.
Yes.
After disaster AD. Terra AD. There we go.
The place has regrown into a world that is full of all sorts of wildernesses. The buildings that exist are so futuristic that they actually stand the test of time and are still standing. Plants and animals have been mutated into things that are all sorts of weird, and we'll get into that with the character creation, because that's really cool too. But it has kind of leveled out. Things aren't, way off kilter. They're off kilter, but not way too far.
Exactly. Yep. And so yeah, you mentioned it earlier. The D20 system is it? It's the Zocchi dice. Zocchi. These are the funny dice.
The funny dice. Yes.
Your standard set is the D4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20.
Yes.
These ones include the 3, the 5, the 7, the 14, the 24, and the 30. And the intention here is as you increase in power, you don't add bonuses to your stuff. You grab a bigger dice.
That's right. You don't add modifiers. You just grab the next bigger dice.
Yeah. So if you're rolling a D6, now you're rolling a D8. If you're rolling a D8, now you're rolling a D10 to a 12 to a 14.
It also goes the other way.
It does go down. Yes, that is true. It's not all positives.
It's not all positives. So these dice from 4 to 30 make a scale, and you string them all out. And when it says move up a dice, you move your little scale up 1 dice from 20 to 24. Or from if it says move
from
down,
D3
you go
to 4, from 4 to 5, 5 to 7.
When you move down, go down. So 20 to 16 to 14 to 12. Yeah. Stuff like that. All the skill checks and attacks are made with a D20, usually. And
there's some that's not, but it's pretty safe bet.
We are rolling a meet or beat system, so you have to either meet the DC or exceed it.
Yeah. If the DC is 14, a 14 is a pass.
14 is a success.
15 is a pass. A 13 is not.
13 is not. Yeah. And that's the basics of Mutant Crawl Classics.
Yeah. And there's really not I have to give them such kudos to the system. It is simple, but it's punchy.
Yeah. You do add modifiers to things. There's a slight bit of adding and subtracting because it wouldn't be a tabletop game if we didn't do a little bit of math.
For sure. But these aren't D&D mod. There's no plus 14 happening.
Oh God, I hope not. No.
You're getting like a plus 2.
You're getting plus 3, yes.
At the most kind of idea, right? Very low modifiers.
Yes.
But with that being said, that also helps. And what I was saying, meaning by punchy, is when a combat happens, you're through it. Like there's no kind of sitting back.
There's no back and forth.
You're going.
Yeah. Now I will disclaimer. Sometimes characters die,
of course,
in these games. They are set in the earlier edition rule sets kind of thing, where it was a little more, here's the game, here's the hits, and they hit hard. Not the newer editions where they're like, well, we'll put padding on.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, this is of course standard through all D20 systems, right?
For sure.
Especially the D20 meet or beat systems. They're all roughly the same, right? Just more math, less math, stuff like that.
If you played one, you get the guts of all of them.
You got the gist of it.
All you really need to learn is just the little bits and pieces here.
That's right. So let's get on to the fun parts. The character creation. The nitty gritty. So first off, now we are creating level 0 characters.
Yeah, we don't start level 1.
We're not doing level 1s. No. And specifically for the funnel, we create like 3 or 4 characters. But tonight we'll just do 1. First off, we have our 6 ability scores, and they are strength, which is strength. We all know it.
Yep.
We love it.
It's how hard you hit and how much you can lift.
It is to crush a tomato.
Yeah, exactly.
Agility. This is your balance, your grace, your dexterity. This is throwing tomatoes.
Or dodging tomatoes. True.
Stamina. This is your endurance, your resistance to pain, disease. This ability also affects your HP and your fortitude saves. And we'll get into the saves a little later. I promise. There's going to be a
We're
couple
getting
more
there.
saves come up.
This is how many tomatoes you can throw or be hit by
Or eat.
or eat.
Personality is our next one, and this is your charm. This is the charisma stat. This is how much you can affect the other people with your speech and what.
How well you can sell the tomato.
How well you can sell tomatoes. Now this is also affecting our willpower saving throws. Again, later.
We'll touch that.
Intelligence. This is knowing that tomato is a fruit. And this is your ability to discern information, retain knowledge, your smarts, the things that make you smart. Next up, we have luck. This is used in a multitude of different roles, and you can burn it. You can do all sorts of it modifies different things, but not like skill things.
Yeah. It's got impacts on the game to assist. This is kind of this game's inspiration. Kind of like it's the closest thing this game has to it. The ability, you have this luck, you can use it to give yourself a plus.
Give yourself a little bonus. Yeah.
A little bonus kind of thing. So
now we roll these, we roll them 3d6 straight down the line.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we're making multiple characters. This is not a one-off. Yeah.
And you're not going to get a perfect character, and that's okay. You're going to get a character.
That is what we love about the Dungeon Crawl Classics and Mutant Crawl Classics games is it's a character. It is not God.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
You are not rolling with a 20. You're just on John. Strength. Yeah, you're not
John the Almighty.
Exactly, yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
One day you might be.
Maybe one day. I mean, you got to survive the grinder first. But
that's right.
Now, after we roll our 3d6s, there's a table, I believe, table 1-1 on page 16 gives a layout of what these modifier or these ability scores turn into a modifier wise. I believe we do keep our ability scores here. We don't throw them out like with Merkborg or anything. We do keep our
keep the numbers,
abilities and our modifiers separate. So our modifiers range from a -3 to a +3 on these rolls only. The modifiers do go up to a +6, but you can't roll a 24 with 3d6.
That's right.
So that's for later game, boosts.
As you level yourself up,
stuff,
increase yourself in many multiple ways.
That's right.
Right now, we kind of only care about the 18 and lower.
Yes, because we are Joe Farmer off the field with our pitchfork. If we're lucky, we have a club.
That's right. Yeah.
After that, at level 0, we roll 1d4 plus our stamina modifier to get our HP. Now, this is the fun part.
Yep.
If you say you roll poorly, as DG does, and he has all ones on his 3d6 stamina roll.
This is typical. Happens all the time.
So he gets a 3. That equals a -3 modifier. Now, if he were to roll a 3 on that d4, he would have 0 HP. That's not a character.
No.
You don't live if you have 0 HP.
Yeah, you need at least one.
Lore-wise, these characters are considered to have died at birth, and in quotation marks, a not uncommon thing to happen in Terra AD.
I mean, it makes sense. The world is a hellscape, and this is where we're at now. So, in those moments, I think if you rolled that, I would be like, yeah, your character's dead. Let's just re-roll the scores.
Exactly.
I'd let you keep everything else the same. We're just going to re-roll the scores to help.
To be perfectly honest, we haven't gone very far. So yeah, you just re-roll your stamina score and go. Yeah, that's how I would rule that. But
I mean, you might want to make a
rules
whole
are the
new character.
rules.
Maybe that character is bad luck and you don't want to
That's-
go forward with it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I mean,
But I would have given you the ability to just basically redo it.
with our ability scores in hand, we then roll a D100. Now, if you don't have a D100, it's handy that you have 2D10 with you because they make a 100.
That's correct.
On the occupation table. Now,
So we got to determine what your job is here.
the thing I love about the occupation table,
Yeah.
it's a D100.
Yep.
And sorry, this table is table 1-2 on
Yep,
page
page
16 as well.
Yep.
It has two choices.
That's right. It's a 50-50. So even if you didn't have a D10, just roll that D20.
Or a D6.
Anything.
Or
Roll
flip a
anything
coin.
with even sides.
Yeah. So on a roll of 1 to 50, your character is a hunter. On a roll of 51,
And you get a spear.
you get a spear. On a roll of 51 to 100, you're a gatherer, and you get a
you get
bag.
A large leather sack.
Yeah.
That's right. For your gathering purposes.
It
makes
I
sense.
I love that it is a D100 on a
On a
two-slot table.
a two option table. It is perfect, and it fits the character creation system quite well because something that we've applauded Dungeon Crawl Classics for is this character creation system is simple yet effective.
Yes.
Because the tables allow you to create the character without actually knowing who the character is yet.
Yeah. And that's why these systems with the funnel system in place work so well
work
for
really
randomizing characters. Now,
Absolutely.
if you have a character in mind,
We're all having fun here.
yeah.
I as the DM would allow you to skip it. You don't want to do it? That's fine. You don't have to. You want to make a character yourself? That's okay.
But at least try it.
You should
see
try
what you
it.
come out with.
You should try it and see
because
what
it's
you think.
fun.
Yeah. But I get it. I'm not going to force you to do it. But
No.
I will tell you, I'm not going to let you build an OP character while everyone else doesn't get one.
That's right.
That is, you're going to be within the same as everybody else.
Has
for
to be in line
stats-wise.
with everyone else.
You want to make your own character, that's fine, but it is in line with all the rest of them.
So after we find out what our job was, either a hunter or a gatherer, we roll on our birth sign table. Now this is table 1-3, page 17. And this is a D30 table that tells you your birth sign. For example, your birth sign could be the scientist, and you would add your luck modifier. This is where this luck modifier comes in to all reflex saving throws. Or maybe you were born into the beast, and you would apply your luck mod to all unarmed attack rolls, because it's everything in between. The birth signs are really cool. I like the birth signs and how they change and shape your character.
For sure. Yeah, it's a really cool system. I like that it's got a bunch of different choices here. Again, if you don't want to run, this is a table I'd just let you pick from. It is what it is.
Yeah,
there isn't a bad roll here, right? Like
no.
It's all intended to help flesh out your character a little bit. If you're like, no, I would like to have the multi-tool. Okay, fine.
Unless you were building a melee character and you get the ranged.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I would encourage a roll on it, but if you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this would have been nicer if I got this. Okay, you have that,
Exactly.
right? Like, to me, I don't see anything on this list that is overpowered compared to something else.
No,
this is one of those tables where it's really flexible. Again,
It
right?
is, yeah. After the birth sign, we get our beginning equipment, and at level 0, characters all get a flint dagger and a water skin.
Yep.
And either your spear or your large sack.
Right.
We also get to roll twice on the additional beginning equipment. Now, this is on page 1-4 on page 18.
Table 1 4, page 18.
Yes. I misspoke. Thank you
No, I
very
got
much.
it. We're good.
And this is all sorts of just mundane equipment that gives you a little leg up against everything else. Our saving throws. Now, I promised we would get to your saving throws, so here we are.
Here they are.
We get 3 saving throws. Now, this is similar to the old D&D system, as well as the Pathfinder system, multiple other systems.
Any of those ones that were based on old school D&D.
Yes.
The grognards are happy with
They
this.
love these because it is only 3 that they have to worry about. Now we have our fortitude saves. And this is your resistance to physical threats such as radiation, poisons, gases, acids, etc. And this is modified, of course, by our stamina. We have reflex saves. This is your resistance to reaction-based threats such as ducking, dodging, leaping, twisting away from being grabbed, etc. Also modified by our agility. And we have willpower saves. Now, this is the resistance to mind-influencing threats such as mutations that can charm or control, or psychedelic effects that can cause us to sleep or hypnotize, stuff like that. And this is modified by personality. Now,
physical defense, dodging, magic defense.
That's right.
That's the thing.
It's very simple.
It's simple. If you've never done this style of saving throws, incredibly simple. It breaks down into one of these 3 categories. The DM knows which of the categories it is. They'll ask you to call for a save. You'll have a number in there. You'll roll a die. Away you go.
It's coming from 5e, this is so simple and
it's so simple.
Such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. There's not a lot of stuff that's gonna make you sit here and really have to sit and think about it.
Crunch numbers, no. Yeah. That being said, as characters gain levels, their saving throws do increase as well, and this is all outlined in the character classes, which we will get to later because level 0s have no class.
That's right. You're just a level 0. You're just a dude.
Just a dude.
Yep.
Don't do much. After that, we figure out how many languages we know. Now, everyone knows, quote unquote, Newspeak, which is a mongrel descendant of the last universal language spoken by the ancient ones. And for each point of modifier, a character knows 1 additional language. Now, Newspeak is basically common. It's just fancy.
It's this game's version of it.
Yeah, it's just
simple,
mutated common.
Yep.
Yeah. Finally, we figure out what our character looks like.
Yeah. Page 19.
This is another part of I love this game.
The tables are really good. The character creator is just great.
This game is up there with Merkborg for me. I love this game, and I love Dungeon Crawl Classics because of these things. Now, this is a D100 table. Now, we figure out what our character genotype is, which is saying, what race are you? Now, we have a pure strain human, which is your standard you, me, everything but the dog. After that, we have a mutant. We have a manimal, which is an animal man.
Manimal.
And we have
the plantians, a sentient plant.
Yes, the mushroom people.
Or Groot.
Or Groot. Yes. Exactly. You could be a sentient sunflower for all it matters.
That's right.
I love it.
It's beautiful.
And then after this, of course, we do get to... So, Mutant Crawl Classics took your standard 9-square grid of alignment, your chaos, your law, and your evil, stuff like that, threw it out the window and said, you know what? We've progressed beyond alignment. Lawful, good, evil, stuff like that. So we are doing archaic alignment. And what this does is it's picked a bunch of ideals that align or not dictate. They push you in the right direction for what your character would be doing. So everyone may begin as the clan of the cog, Optionally, pure strain humans may be members of the curators. Mutants may be part of the children of the glow. Manimals may be part of the chosen of zoo. Plantians may be of the atomic equinox. Now, each clan outlines their ideals instead of guiding rules for your character so that you know it's kind of easier to follow rather than I'm good, I'm neutral, I'm evil, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just a little extra spice into it, which is nice to have as part of it.
And I did miss it, but with the genotypes, we do also get to roll on a appearances table. Now, this table is really cool. Like, really cool.
This is table 1-6 on page 19.
There we go. Yes. And I love this table because it's a D30?
Yeah, it's a D30. Yeah.
D30 and then a D6 across. And it's basically you roll for each appendage, like your head, your arms, your hands,
skin color, texture,
everything.
Eyes, mouth, head, hair, hands, feet, body, and then your form. And then if you get a 29 or a 30, you're rolling twice.
That's right. I will say that this is for everything except for pure strain humans because you are a pure-blooded human that doesn't mutate.
That's right. Yep.
Now, the mutants have this, the manimals have this, and the plantians have this as well. So, it's so cool seeing that. That's it for character creation.
And once you've got your characters created, it's time for what is arguably my favorite part of these games, which is the character funnel. And we kind of mentioned it, and again, it'll be common with Dungeon Crawl Classics, but on page 22, they mention the rite of passage or the character funnel, which essentially is when a person reaches adulthood, they can challenge the gauntlet. And if you don't complete the rite, you're considered sub-adult no matter how old you are. Which means if a 15-year-old completes this and a 40-year-old doesn't, the 15-year-old has say-so over the 40-year-old.
Yeah.
The 40-year-old is less than in this point.
That's right.
It's a really, really cool... The funnel is such a cool way to start a campaign because it breaks up the people who pick the same characters on repeat, right? For a quick and dirty of the way that the funnel works, essentially there's X number of level 0 characters in a session 0 adventure. The DM runs it. Each player runs an amount of those players. So if it's 20 and you have 4 players, that means each one of them are running 5 characters apiece. They run through this adventure, and whoever's left standing at the end of the adventure, those are the characters you can now choose to run the game with, kind of thing.
And this sounds like it's intimidating. It is not, because
it's intended to be wacky and fun.
Your characters have 0 skills.
Yeah.
You can swing a club, and that is it.
Yeah.
They can maybe dodge out of the way of things, but there's not a lot of mechanical things going on here. What this is a meat grinder to figure out what comes out at the end. And at the end, you have a handful of characters that survive, and this is how it randomizes the character creation.
Yeah,
because you're not stacking one person to come through here. You're not coddling one, right? You're running them as a group through
exactly
this.
And one of my absolute favorite things about the funnel is this is creating some of your character's backstory. These events took place, and these are things that you can now use to help shape who your character is going forward. It's a really, really cool concept. And above all, if you don't like it, if you get all the way to the end and you're like, you know what, I don't like any of these characters. Okay, let's just make a new one. No problem.
Roll another one.
We'll just roll up another character. No sweat. Let's make something you do like. But I mean, the concept of a session 0 adventure is just really cool to me. And I really love it. This whole system, fantastic. I love it.
I will also state, this is not like, this adventure, quote unquote, is not like 4 or 6 hours long.
No, we're talking like a one shot. This is a 3-hour thing. You're gonna sit down, you're gonna get it done, and you're gonna move on with it, right? But,
this is a one session sit, because if it takes any longer than that, you're doing it wrong. Else. Yeah,
you're doing it wrong. If anyone looks bored around the table, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So once you've completed the character funnel, you move from level 0 into level 1, and now you've officially triggered something called a metagenesis, which is like a strong mutation of sorts. And this is where your class as a human, or as a mutant, like you start to get new features. So if you're the human, you go this way. If you're the mutant, you go this way. And et cetera, et cetera. The human is different from all the rest of them because the human can select a character class, because they don't have mutant powers like the mutants, the manimals, or the plantients. And so there is a list of, I believe it's 4 classes, Finny, right?
Yep. That sounds right. Yes. 4.
Yeah. So you're running through the Sentinel, which is your fighter. He's exceptionally strong, providing defense and security to the tribes. The Shaman, who has high intelligence, this is your wizard, maybe with a slight touch of cleric, just a little bit.
Yeah, this is your caster.
The Shaman has deity's favor, requires a deity, and the deity's favor is how they power their spells. So so that's kind of how that part works. Then you have a healer, which is explanatory. This is your healing cleric.
Yeah.
And then you have a rover. The rovers are agile and light. They're the advanced scouts. These are your rogues crossed with ranger, right? Like these are your cloak and dagger type characters. And those are just for the pure strain humans. They're the only ones who get these classes.
The mutants, the manimal, and the plantients are their own classes. This is reminiscent of like 1E.
Remember
D&D.
Old school D&D when you
like
had
old
when you had the human fighter, the human cleric, the magic user, a dwarf, an elf, right?
Yeah.
That's where this comes in.
That's where this comes from. It harkens back to the old originals, and that's another thing that I like about it. It simplifies a lot of things. You don't get the analysis paralysis of which should I be.
That's right.
Mutants, they mutate. Mechanically, they pick between 2 and 5 physical and mental mutations at level 1. These can be found on tables 3-2 and 3-3, and these are basically just the powers you get from being a mutant. And so this is like, you can also burn stat points to boost the roll on them with an option called glowburn, which mechanically this is the same as spellburn in the Dungeon Crawl Classics. You can basically make yourself weaker to make your powers powerful.
You dig deep when you need it at a cost of yourself. Tables 3-2 and 3-3 are on page 44 if you're following along.
Manimals, which were once animals, which were mutated to people.
Yeah, they're mutated.
They were
mutated animals. Animals.
Yeah. Ta-da! So they have a greater intelligence than their animal brethren. They have the ability to walk upright, use tools, opposable thumbs, possibly. We don't know. Mechanically, you start with 1 or 2 mutations, and you also have access to glowburn. They have pack mentality, which allows them to gain additional bonuses when attacking the same target as other of their party. They also have built-in ability to use a 1d4 bite and claw unarmed melee
they've got
strikes.
some built-in melee.
Yeah, which are very cool.
Very cool.
The Plantians, we love Plantians.
Plantians are great.
They're walking, talking plant creatures.
Yep.
They have a natural attack in the form of a thorn or spine missile, 1d4.
Yep. So where the
gain,
manimals got the melee, the Plantians get the ranged.
They gain 2 points of luck per every 1 point spent and can choose to donate the luck to others if they want. This regenerates at a rate of 2 points per 24-hour period. So they gain their luck back quite quickly, and they can also their bardic inspiration.
They can pass it along to other people.
Go.
You want a little bit of luck, you can get it. Get it from here. I think that's a really, really cool concept to have that in there. That's really cool.
It makes them worth picking, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just, I'm a walking plant. I get, a missile attack.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, and I mean, you get your mutations as well. That's a thing. But the reality of it is that you have this, like, that ability to share the luck is really huge. And the fact that you get it back twofold, so you can give one, I get two, so here's one for you, here's one for me, and I'm going to get two back in 24 hours, so I can do it again.
I will state that my most favorite part of this is that Plantians suffocate in a full oxygen environment. They need carbon dioxide to live.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone else would be
specifically in the book, it says they need carbon dioxide to live.
It's so funny. Yeah. Something to keep in mind about your mutants, okay? So and humans as well. Pure strain humans are also affected by this. The game is going to be constantly throwing challenges in your way that will either increase or decrease your mutations. So mutants can revert back into pure strain humans. Manimals can devolve back into animals. Plantians can get back into plants. Pure strain humans can turn into mutants.
Mutate.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a constant shifting happening throughout the game if you fail a check or if there's something that takes place. So it is really, really important that if you as a mutant have something that if you go to use it and there's a chance that that mutation goes away, that you have some kind of backup, because it is possible that you would run out of your abilities and this would mean pretty much certain death for you.
That's such a cool mechanic.
It's a cool concept, because it also means that if you get mutated again, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll mutate the same way you did before. And
that's
so
right.
It's different now.
You can manifest a different mutation.
Yeah. Very, very cool. I love that.
So speaking of mutations, mutants have two types of mutations.
Yep. And we're on page 42 about this.
So we have active powers and passive powers. Now, active powers can be used at will and require the mutation checks when you use them. And this check is what can revert you back. We also have passive powers, which are of permanent and sort of effects that can only be rolled when you first acquire the power.
I'm laughing because I wrote the notes here and I wrote the word laxative. They don't have laxative effects. They have lasting effects. So those are wildly different
I was
effects.
Trying not to, because that would give the wrong impression.
Yeah, yeah. No, the mutations, the passive powers, basically, the difference between these, the active powers, you need to make a check to use it. The passive power, you have it. It's just something that you have. So it's like armor.
You make the check one time.
Correct.
When you get it.
And
that dictates how strong it is.
And on a level up, you can choose to try and increase the power of it if you'd like to. Otherwise, you can just kind of leave it be. But the active power, every time you use it, you're making that check. And it is possible that it burns out on you and it's gone.
That passive power, when you level up, if you choose to try and make it better and roll, you do have the chance of it making it worse and disappear.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just Gotta say that because
it's a scale. So you're going to want to make sure, because you make that initial roll when you receive the power. You're going to want to know where you are on that scale. And then as you level up, you get more chance of getting the higher levels in it. But it doesn't mean you're still rolling dice. It doesn't mean you're going to get to the top. It just means that you have a better chance of doing so.
You have a better chance. It is a non-zero chance that you roll a low zero.
That's right.
Low number.
Yeah. And then again, you also have the ability to burn your luck or use glowburn. So you make the roll. It's not good. You can now burn your luck or use glowburn to increase the result of it.
Make it so that you don't lose your power.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, so that's basically the gist of it, right? The concept is there's the table on 46. So the physical mutations start on 45, but in 46 is the table for claws. So if you have been mutated and you now have claws, you make your mutation check and you roll between 1 and 32 plus. If you roll a 1, you fail and the mutation has now been replaced by a defect. And if you roll a 2 to 11, you fail, and it results in cosmetic changes only to create non-damaging claws. And then from there, the damage increases per die, up as it goes. If you roll poorly, you'll lose these, and they're gone, and that's that, right? So
if a defect occurs, now these defects are awful.
Not good. You do not want good. These defects.
They are typically harmful or unpleasant, leading to such things as an asymmetrical body. So you get elephanted.
These start on 88, by page 88, by the way.
Or multiple personalities or uncontrolled empathy.
Multiple personalities would be a really hard one. I think if somebody at my table got multiple personalities, I'd be like, if you want to re-roll on the defects table, I'll let you do that. Because the way that it's written in the book is that as you roll through, you have anywhere between 2 and 10 different personalities to keep in check.
I think if I were to do that, every decision that got made, like attack everything, would have to be on a roll. And it would dictate that roll, which voice is speaking, which voice and which who has control on who they're attacking, what they're doing.
It could be a lot of fun, but that is very much,
it would be a lot of work.
That is for the right kind of player, right? There's a lot of people at even at the table that we play at. I know if that was given to them, it would be debilitating, right? So I think for that one, I'd be like, I'll let you re-roll that one because that one's not going to suit you very well. But the defects are brutal. Like, they're intended to be debilitating. And so, you're going to have a bad time if you end up with a defect. So choose wisely when you're with your mutations, and especially when you're using them. It's important to keep that in check.
We do also have a chance at a mega mutation.
Yeah, these are
on page 102. And these are huge boosted abilities that have almost no downsides to them. Yeah,
they're very, very few. The only time that you're going to have a problem is basically if you're rolling from 1 to 34 plus on the mega mutations, and from 1 is a defect, so you don't want a 1. 2 to 13 is a cosmetic change. It's a manifestation. Not terrible, but not great.
It's not. Yeah.
Everything else is amazing.
We're talking like metal skin to boost your defenses. We're talking.
You're an X-Man now.
The ability to assimilate or drain life forces. Like, these are cool.
These are
stuff.
Big ones. Big ones. You got the crit system back. This is the same crit system that was in DCC. It looks fantastic. The crit system has always been a highlight to me. This is starting on page 127. But it's got tables all the way through to 135. Crit tables exist for all the things.
And they're different for every class.
For every class.
And they are awesome.
They're all great.
These crit tables are perfect. They are just chef's kiss.
It's
awesome.
just such a great system, right? Like,
yeah. They are crit tables. They are crit and fumble.
That's
tables.
Right. Yeah.
It's not just
yeah.
crit.
No, it's not always the bonus, right? The other thing too is the crit tables exist for the monsters, the robots, and the AI life forms as well. So not only is it for the PCs, but it also exists for the NPCs and the enemies. So that's something to keep in mind
it's
as well.
only fair if the players get it. The DM does too.
Gets to play it too. The DM gets to have a fun time. So
that's right. Magic in this game comes in the shape of wetware
programs
and programs that are granted by the patron AIs. Now these are mostly for the shamans, I believe. I believe so.
Yeah. The concept here is your dumb PC stumbles into a relic of the past that is like heavy duty technology, and they start worshiping it like a god.
And then it zaps him in the brain. He's got these things.
And now he's got the ability to go out and do stuff in the name of the glorious technology, right? Like that's kind of the
0010011.
It's a really cool concept. This was my one. When I came across this, I had to ask you. I was like, does this say what I think it says? And so page 140, it says the total number of programs a shaman can learn is determined by the program check result of their patron AI bond program. But this is the piece that got me. It also states that while shamans of level 7 or higher are capable of learning level 4 and level 5 wetware programs, this book does not contain them and recommends buying future high-level Mutant Crawl Classic RPG adventures and supplements. I thought that's on page 140. It's literally the bottom left-hand paragraph. Like, it's in the book that says, hey, we didn't give you all the spells. You're going to need to buy more books. And we looked it up, and they don't exist yet except through a third-party supplement.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's very unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Now, I mean, I'm assuming that's because they probably don't expect your shaman to live to the ability to cast level 4 and 5. Yeah. But I mean, like...
So, for those of you that didn't listen to the Dungeon Crawl Classics podcast, Dungeon Crawl Classics only goes from level 0 to level 10. Yep. There is no level 20 characters. No. There's no level 11 character. It only goes from level 0 to 10. Yep. So at level 7, we're hitting like the level 15 plus in the D&D world.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We're getting up there. There's not a lot of play up there, but it's also unfortunate because it should have been in there because it's like, what, an extra 2-3 pages worth of
you could have added
text.
a couple more pages in here. You didn't have to give pages on pages on pages of the spells, but I mean, it would have been nice to see at least 2 to 3 of each level. I really, really didn't like, if there was one thing about this game, because up to this point, I'm like, this is a fantastic game. If there was one thing that really ticked me off, it was the fact that in the book, it even says, we don't have those spells and you'll have to buy more books to get them. I didn't agree with that. I thought that was a really poor decision.
Now, I didn't dive into the spell system in here to see how hard it would be to make a level 7, like a level 4 and level 5 spell.
For sure.
Like homebrew it. I'm thinking it's not going to be terribly hard.
It's probably not that difficult, but
it should be
you should
there.
Just have one in there. I mean, come on.
The supplementary book that we did find for it is it's an agnostic kind of thing for all kind of sci-fi genre thing, and it's the I'm going to screw this up so bad. I apologize. Then the Enchiridion?
I'm going with
the computer arcs.
Enchiridion, but I don't know. To be perfectly honest with you, it's probably a great book, but it's not official. It's third party, so it's just somebody's homebrew that they created because there's a gap that exists here, where the gap shouldn't exist to begin with.
Now, I will also say that Goodman Games is a great third-party provider of D&D stuff. Yep. So, I mean, there's so much stuff beyond this. Like, we just glossed over the major parts here that we hit the peaks.
Yeah.
The book is like 290 pages long.
Yep.
Fantastic read.
It's a great book.
It's a great book. That being said, there's like various different tribes. There's a whole section on AI and the systems with AI recognition, which is like the healer stuff and getting dealing with all of that, as well as artifacts. There's a bestiary that starts on page 188. Now there's only like 29 creatures in there, but the creatures in there are top notch. There's deities, which are your patron AIs, and then there's this is where they list how to merge DCC with MCC on page 262. Like I said at the beginning, it goes both ways. You can take your characters from Mutant Crawl Classic and go back into the Stone Age and time machine back, or you can get warped to the future from DCC into Mutant Crawl Classics and start fighting horrendous
Exactly.
things.
Yeah, they clip together perfectly, which is just it's really cool. And then in addition to that, as we've mentioned with a lot of the other games, the book ends with a level 0 rite of passage adventure. So you've got a level 0, you've got a funnel right there, and then the follow-up level 1 adventure to it. So you've kind of got a 1-2 punch here at the end of the book, which I think that's really cool.
We do like our books that come with adventures. I
love it when a book gives, because even if I don't use it, at least I know how their adventures look without any additional investment on my side.
That's right. And it's also nice to just sit down with a book, no other stuff needed, just sit down, book,
do your thing,
flip to the last page,
nice
go.
And simple.
So and that's it for MCC.
That's Mutant Crawl Classics in a nutshell. Finny, what are you thinking about MCC? Where are you landing with this one?
It is up there with Merkborg.
For sure.
And Traveler. Yeah. It's one of the top threes. I between the artwork, and my favorite baddie of all time, the quantum cat. Now, I have to gush about the quantum cat. This is on page 195 for those of you following along. And if you're following along, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, because it is a solitary creature. Now, being quantum, it's not seen, so it can touch another creature and make an exact copy of that creature. An exact copy, down to its memories, its mannerisms, everything. Except for it has half the HP, half the attack power, and as does the original, because it has stolen half of it. Now, my favorite part is, and it states this in the book, if it happens to a PC that PC gets touched by this quantum cat, allow the player to play both versions of his or her character as though they were two characters, while secretly keeping track of which one's the original.
It's mirror universe.
It's mirror universe. Now, if the cat duplicate dies, everything goes back to normal.
Right.
Your character's fine.
Reabsorbed.
If the original PC dies, now of course we are doing everything in halfsies here, so it's got half the health, it's got half the hit points, it's got half the reflexes, half of everything. It's going to be rough. Then the cat moves on to the next thing.
That's evil.
And if it teleports away as soon as it turns into its original form, and it's
then
gone.
That's that. Bye-bye. Gone. That's a fantastic enemy.
That is my favorite enemy out of. They're all good in here, but that's really the one that stood out the most to me. I do have a soft spot for Monster Crawl Classics and Dungeon Crawl Classics but I think the Mutant Crawl Classics would probably be above Dungeon Crawl Classics for me because it feels very familiar while being completely different from all of the usual RPG tropes, right? We are not in the fantasy anymore. We're into the sci-fi. We're doing all sorts of wacky stuff. I love tables.
Yep.
Not the ones with legs. I like tables with legs, but I like rolling tables. Tables are so great because it makes everything so easy to do. Like, say you need to decide something. There's probably a table for it. Find that table, roll it, done. It's done. Ta-da. The artwork is stunning. And this is the same with Dungeon Crawl Classics. It is very similar. I believe it might be the same illustrator even because it feels on point.
Yeah. No, I love the artwork. It's got that old school vibe, and it's got that
goopy hook nose, long ears kind of stuff.
It's tabletop RPG to me. Anytime I see that type of artwork, I'm all in. I love it.
It is based on the 60s and 70s, the atomic retro stuff. It's so cool.
I love it.
What about you?
I mean, I agree. The game is a ton of fun, right? Like with the rule set coming from DCC, it's got that good feeling. It's familiar yet different, right? And that's kind of, we've been talking about that for a while now. The concept of this being its own thing, I really, really like the concept of mutants, the mutate process, the adding and the removing of these mutations as you go through the game. That's really, really cool. The art, absolutely beautiful. I really didn't like the shaman thing. The shaman got stiffed in this one. And I mean, it's maybe not the best class in the game in comparison to what you can do in the game here. But I mean, I really, really wish they would have just included at least a couple things into there. Just like that when you're reading that paragraph and it's like, oh, you're going to need to buy more books. It made me feel gross. Right? Because I was like, oh, was that planned this way so that you could sell more books?
Pretty major turn off.
I don't like that. I love, if you want to expand the spells in future books, I'm all in. I'm all right with that. Go ahead and expand your books. You have to sell books. I get it. So if you're going to expand them, that's fine. But to not even include it, that means that you didn't
give me a baseline.
You didn't complete the character before you pumped it out. So that was a massive mark for me, taking it out of this game. Outside of that, I really, really loved the game. The aesthetics of it, the way that the game plays. I could see myself having a ton of fun with this game. I just wish they would have. If I wouldn't have read that paragraph, if I would have just skipped over that paragraph, I don't think I could have really come up with anything bad to say about it. But I gotta say it was pretty rough. Didn't like that one very much, but.
Yeah. They got a short stick
it
there,
is. I get it, but in the same token, it feels like they cut a corner when they didn't have to.
It's too bad. Yeah.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean,
it.
Mutant Crawl Classics in the bank. I think that it is time, Finny, for the post-pod. Post-pod. It is time for post-pod. Finny, the post
who needs a jingle?
Question of the episode: have you ever had a character die in a way that was so dumb that it became legendary?
Personally, no. I haven't. My characters haven't. I have witnessed characters die in ridiculous ways. Like, for instance, your character when we played Merkborg, when you touch the tome, everybody's looking at the tablet, and you're like, I'm not touching it.
That damn thing.
And everyone's like, just try it. Okay, touched it.
Dead.
Boom. drop to the floor dead. But that's Murkrow.
Yeah,
That's to be expected.
Absolutely.
Other than that, I haven't had a character properly die on me yet.
I feel like you're not trying hard enough.
I keep egging my DMs on, but it never bite.
Well.
But that being said, I hope one day it's going to be just awfully. I hope it just, something falls out of the sky, crushes them, done.
Absolutely.
Something like that. But we'll see. How about
I've
you?
had many character deaths. My most recent character death had my character who picked up an item and equipped it without checking if it was cursed, grafted into his arm, and then have this Umber Hulk chase me through the universe, grab me and literally pull me away to who knows where, never to be seen again. So that was great. I had another character who got a good look at a Medusa and turned into stone.
That's right.
And the party had no way to unstone me, so that character is super dead there as well. I've had a multitude of characters die in ways. The most legendary character death that I can think of is the campaign we played where I played a sorcerer, and the thief in our party stole my diamond that I needed to cast a spell, and I didn't realize that, and so I'm like, I'm gonna cast this spell, and the DM's like, you wave your hands and the spell fizzles out, nothing happens. And I'm like, wait, what? And I was in a position where I was about to be killed. This spell would have taken them out, but since I couldn't cast the spell, I'm the one who got killed for that. And that one is also spoken about quite regularly as well.
Very often.
And is now given me a healthy fear of thieves when you have those types of things. As far as it goes for character deaths in that regard, I am going to put into play an option in my game that I'm going to be running coming up here. That's called Last Stand. Have you ever heard of this? The concept of it?
Yes. But
here's what Last Stand is. You go down. So you have dropped from whatever to 0 hit points and you're going to go down. You have an option. You can drop down unconscious like normal and you can do your thing. Death save, someone can save you, they can revive you, do whatever. If you would like to, you can choose to do a Last Stand, which will give you one more full action with crits to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then die permanently after.
But there's no chance.
You're not going to survive it. You're going to die. Period. Yeah. Full stop. But if you want to get that last fireball off as a wizard, it's a crit. It's a full-fledged crit. It's going to be an epic.
Yeah.
It's a Last Stand.
It is
you're going down guns blazing, but you're not getting back up again. You're gonna launch that because you're using everything you've got left in you to do that. You're a fighter. You're gonna get that one last swing, full crit. It's gonna hit him, full damage, and then you're dropping. You're done. Because it's to mimic the concept of like you threw everything you could in it, knowing that you put yourself in harm's way, and now you're dead. Yep.
Trying to do get that last shot in to take the big bad out. Well,
so that's going to be an option. If you want to select it, you can choose to select it because there may be a time when you're like, you know what, this is it. This is the end of my character's run. It gives you that perfect send off, right? Rather than just dying and losing the death saves, it gives you an opportunity to select like, no, I'm going out swinging, and that's going to be an option.
I know which option I'm always picking.
Well, I mean, if you want epic character deaths, that's how you're going to get them. I mean, exactly. It's all things in context, right? So, I mean, if you get dropped by a goblin,
I hate to go down and do that against the goblin, but it's probably going to happen.
But yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the thing. But That's
Cool.
it. That's all.
All right.
Listen, everybody, thank you so much for choosing this episode to listen to download, to stream, however it is that you've selected to get it. You can find this podcast on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts. It's on all of the things that are the easiest ways to get it into your ears. As well, we do stream our Dungeons and Dragons games every single Sunday night. You can find those over at twitch.tv/DGOnline. Or if you're on YouTube and you prefer that as your platform, you can do youtube.com/@DadGamingOnline. Every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, you can find us playing Dungeons and Dragons.
We also have a email that you guys can drop us a line at. That is mastersofpenandpaper@gmail.com. Questions, concerns, opinions,
Games to
whatever
check out.
you want.
Pictures of dice.
Games.
Recommendations.
Pictures, dice,
Yeah, we wanna
dice
see
towers,
the stuff.
everything. Yeah. Your in-person setup would be
miniatures.
great.
Send them
We
on.
love those. Yeah. We also have a Discord server that is up and running, and it is full of great people and good conversation happening. The link to those both will be in the description below. And
That's it. That's all.
You guys. That's it.
Episode
That's all.
21 is completed. Coming at you next would be episode 22, so make sure you tune in for that. And until then, thank you so much for choosing this one and listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take care.